All right. Can everyone hear me? Awesome. Perfect. All right. I'm so glad to have all of you here today. Let's just start out on our mats and kneeling. I know that a lot of times when we are stressed or lacking motivation or there's insecurity present, that there's a lot of like punching inward, protecting the heart and the inner organs and kind of like collapsing into the front body. So one of my big goals with this class is to open up the heart space. With this, like if there are any points where you need to sigh, where you need to breathe in a way that is audible, like anything like that, if any emotions come up, all of that is 100% okay and absolutely to be it's not expected per se because it doesn't happen for everyone, but it is a sign that the yoga is working. So if any of that does come up and it starts to get too much, you can always take a break in either child's pose or constructive rest pose. So child's pose would be with your knees apart or together, bringing your hands forward and your head towards the floor with your bum towards your heels. And you can relax your head into the floor. Or for constructive rest pose, you would be on your back with your knees together and your feet slightly farther than hips. And these are always poses you can come to. A big part of the goal of yoga is to know your own edge and respond to yourself. So I want to start just getting in touch with the breath. That is a huge key to calming the nervous system. We often breathe a lot in our upper chests and not all the way into our bellies. So starting here, just take a deep breath and allow your belly to expand. And as you exhale, bring your belly button towards your spine. Inhale, expanding the belly. You might even bring your hands to your belly to notice how it expands. And then exhale, bringing your belly button towards your spine. Now imagine that the air completely fills your belly on the inhale, so much so that the air starts to rise into the ribs and the rib cage expands. And then it rises up all the way into the top of the chest, slightly lifting the heart and the collarbones. When you exhale, it depresses from the top down to the bottom again, filling all the way from the bottom to the top and all the way from the top, bringing the belly button in last. So you can keep this breath throughout the practice, and we're going to start adding movement to this breath, bringing the two together. So as you inhale, let your belly expand, radiate your chest forward and bring your tailbone towards the sky. And as you exhale, stabilize your hands into the earth and push away in a cat arching back. Inhale, opening your heart to receive, breathing into the belly. And exhale, push into the stabilizing earth. You can do this a couple more times at your own pace. Maybe adding a little bit of organic movement, wiggling the hips, moving back and forth. And just matching the movement to the breath. And as you start to feel your spine loosening, you're going to take your hands slightly forward, slightly in front of your shoulders, and as wide as your shoulders. You're going to tuck your toes under, and similar to the arched back position you were just in, you're going to raise your tailbone towards the sky. Bend your knees as much as you need to here. And maybe pedal it out. Keeping your arms in line with your ears and keeping your tailbone towards the sky. Now on an exhale, walk your feet slowly towards your hands. With distance apart here, ground down through your feet. And slowly on your inhale, you're going to come up one vertebrae at a time. Rooting through the earth, coming up through the core, and allowing your head to be the last thing that blossoms up. From here, you're going to take your strap or your towel or belt, whatever it is that you have to hold in your hands, and you're going to take it rather wider than hips width. And once you have this here, you're going to take your feet hips width, ground down, spread the toes, pull the muscles towards the bones of the legs. And as you breathe in, you will expand up while keeping your ribs tacked down towards your hip points. Now with your hands overhead, exhale and slowly, without bending your elbows as much as possible, bring your arms behind you towards your hips. Just expanding through the chest here. Inhale, open your heart, radiate that confidence, and exhale, bring the arms forward and down. Inhale, blooming up from your roots, keeping your core engaged. You expand your heart on the exhale. Inhale, expand, get wide through the pectoral muscles, and exhale back to the front. Now, without bringing your head below your heart, set your strap off to the side. And we are going to come to a wall. Any nearby wall will work. You don't need to have your mat beneath you, especially if you're not wearing socks. And so you're just going to, and if you have your block, this is going to be a great moment to bring it out. So what you're going to do is you're going to be coming close to the wall, but with your heels not against the wall. So give your heels just a little bit of space. You want your knees to be pointing directly over your front middle toes. And you will take your block either on the height, this second height here, or this first height, where it is a little bit wider. I'm going to go ahead and use it this way. And you're going to place it between your thighs above your knees. And the goal of this, if you don't have your block, is to practice using our thigh muscles and our leg muscles to pull in and up. So pulling in towards the bone without clenching your glutes, try to move your block back towards the wall. And then try to move your thighs expanding outwards towards the front of the room, bringing the block towards the front of the room. So if you see my block here, you bring it back and forward using your thigh muscles. You root through your feet with your toes spread wide, using your core. pulling everything to the center. Now, with your block still here, you'll want to bring the palms of your hands up beside your ears, not too close in, maybe slightly wider than your shoulders, and put your palms as flat against the wall as you can. Keep your fingers spread wide. Ground into both your hands and your feet now. As you slowly, if it feels comfortable and safe, walk your feet away from the wall. As you do this, you allow your chest to expand and only go so far as you can still keep your ribs tacked down and your core engaged. Maybe you even let your head come back. Really bring your elbows in towards the center. Do not let them splay out. You want integrity in the upper back. And on an exhale, return to the wall, release one hand at a time and shake it out. You can release your block down to the side. And from here, we are going to come to the top of our mats, feet to the edges of your mat, slightly wider than hip width. Point your toes out, and you're going to slowly lower your hips down towards the earth. If this is too much, you can always sit on your block at any height that is comfortable for you. Or you can also bring your hands forward onto the earth, keeping your back long to take some pressure off of your hips. But if this is comfortable, you can sway slightly side to side, just taking a deep breath here. And on the exhale, bring your hands forward and return to all fours. From here, take your right leg and place it on the outside of your right hand, pointed again as it was in the Malasana squat, pointing outwards from your body. And you can keep your knee on the earth, scooting it back, or you can rise up off the earth into lizard pose. There's a few options here. You can come down onto your forearms if you want more opening in the hip. If that's too much, but you still want to open the hips more, you can also push your knee away, activate your foot, and keep your spine straight. You want to use your muscles in your legs to pull in towards the center of your pelvis like a scissor effect. Return to your hands planted on the floor. Lower that back knee and return to all fours. Placing your elbows directly under your shoulders where your hands are. Keep your hands pointed straight forward from your elbows. And allow your hips to come back and up towards the ceiling as your heart sinks towards the earth, melts into the support of the earth beneath you. This is a great shoulder opener. Resist the potential of your hands to come more inward or more outward. Keep them locked in straight and breathe. This is called puppy pose, so maybe you wag your tail a little. And then on an inhale, return to all fours, and we'll repeat on the other side. Taking your left leg this time, out, pointing your toes out away from your body. You can either scoot your knee back, keeping it on the floor, or raise it up into lizard pose. You can come down onto your forearms, or just with your feet engaged, your toes lifted, push your knee away. keeping your shoulders away from your ears. Take a deep breath, pull in towards your midline. And this time, when you return your hands to the floor, instead of coming to all fours, step back into the top of a push-up. This is plank pose. Draw in towards your core and say to yourself, I am powerful. Maybe rocking back and forth for one. Take another deep breath in and exhale to the floor. Uncurl your toes. Bring your hands slightly out in front, like you would in down dog, and push up to expand and radiate through the heart. If you feel any pinching in your low back, you can spread your legs more or come down onto your forearms. Really bring the fronts of your armpits forward. Allow your heart to open. And exhale to the earth. You're going to roll over onto your back. I'm going to come into this position so you can see what I'm doing. You're going to take your block. It can be on any height you would prefer. But you're going to basically coming into constructive rest pose, knees together. Allow your back to completely flatten into the floor. And then you can take your feet, hips width apart, knees pointed towards the ceiling, knees in line with your middle toes. And you will take your block at whatever height feels most comfortable to you and bring it beneath your rim of your pelvis. It'll feel like a sweet spot when you melt into that area. If having it on a higher level is too much, you can always bring it down to the lowest level or bring it higher for more of a stretch. But here, just let your shoulders melt into the floor. Allow your hips to melt into the block, but keep your legs and your feet firm and aligned. Taking a deep breath, know that no matter what breaks down, you always have this place to come back to where you can rebuild. Whenever things get stirred up, it's an opportunity for a new direction. From here, I'm going to show you a few variations of wheel pose that you can take. I will caution, if you have any back injuries, to, without consulting a physician, not come into the full variation of wheel pose unless it's already part of your practice. But for now, you can come to any comfortable seat and see these following options that you can choose from. So you can start in supported bridge if you desire. Bring your elbows to the earth, ground them into the earth with your fingers pointing towards the ceiling. Stabilize through your feet, through your elbows, and then practice squeezing inward with both your elbows and your legs and lifting your hips from the block. At this level, you can return your hips to the block at any time and allow yourself to melt back down. Another option is to keeping the block here, bring your hands near your ears as we did at the wall, and practice pushing into both your hands and your feet, bringing all the muscles in towards the core and lifting up slightly without bringing your head fully off the floor, but not putting any pressure in your head or your neck. Making sure that you're always bringing everything into midline is what's going to be really important for accessing this pose. You don't want your knees to splay out. You don't want your elbows to splay out, because both of those things can be really destabilizing. The final option is you can remove your block, plant your feet into the earth, plant your hands on either side of your head, spreading the fingers and the toes wide, And you will lift your hips into bridge, then push into your hands and bring yourself up into full wheel pose. Bring your elbows towards midline, your knees towards midline, and allow your heart to radiate. On the exhale, slowly release, bringing your head, the back of your head to the floor, and slowly bringing the rest of the spine down. So you can choose any one of those variations to practice. If you have any questions, do let me know. So just find yourself rooting down into the stable earth. Draw in to your core values, into the knowledge of who you are, bringing your elbows in, bringing your knees in. And then from there, use that empowerment to open your heart to receive. And exhale and lower. If you are in supported bridge, you may also remove your block. Come into constructive rest. You're just going to allow your knees to come to one side, maybe bringing your arms out to a T shape, and then to the other side, as much as feels comfortable. Taking a deep breath here. Now bring your knees into your chest. Give yourself a hug. Thank yourself for coming and showing up for yourself today, for showing up for your wellness. Just rock back and forth a little, massage your spine. So instead of Savasana for today's final resting pose, we're going to do what's called legs up the wall. So come to a nearby wall if you have it. You can also prop your legs up onto a chair if that's easier. Just scoot your bottom as close to the wall as you can while in a fetal pose. And then slowly walk your feet until you're able to settle flat onto your back. Bring your heels to the wall. Activate your feet slightly. Keep a slight bend in your knees. Allow your upper body to just melt into the floor. Maybe you get your blanket and you cover up your torso, your arms. Maybe you take a little towel and cover your eyes. Just get as comfortable as you can here. And I'm going to bring us into a little meditation. If you ever need to come down out of this pose, you can take constructive rest on the wall and then reversing what we did to come into the pose, walk your feet back down into a fetal position on the floor. Just go ahead and get as comfortable as you can. And you can also take Savasana, just laying flat on the floor if that is more comfortable for you. Just allowing your breath to return to normal here. Allowing it to be easy. Coming and going like a wave. I'm going to go through a process. It's called Yoga Nidra, which means yoga sleep. It's a deeply relaxing body scan. As I go through, I'm just going to name various parts of the body, such as the toes, the wrists, things like that. And as I name each body part, just visualize that body part completely melting, completely relaxing. The sole of the left foot, the left big toe, the left second toe, third toe, fourth toe, and pinky toe. The heel of the left foot, the left ankle, the top of the left foot, the left shin wrapping around the left calf, the left kneecap, the left thigh and glutes, the left hip point, cascading down into the bowl of the pelvis. Palm of your right hand, the right thumb, the right index finger, the right middle finger, the right ring finger, the right pinky finger, the right wrist and top of the right hand, the right forearm, the right elbow, the right bicep around to the right tricep, the right shoulder socket, the right shoulder blade, melting down the right ribs to the right hip point into the bowl of the pelvis. The sole of the right foot, the right big toe, the right second toe, third toe, fourth toe, the right pinky toe, the right heel, the right ankle, the top of the right foot, the right shin round to the right calf, the right kneecap, the right thigh up into the glutes, the right hip point, cascading down into the bowl of the pelvis. The palm of your left hand, the left thumb, the left index finger, left middle finger, the left ring finger, the left pinky finger, top of the left hand and left wrist, left forearm, left elbow, left bicep around to the tricep, the right shoulder socket, the right shoulder blade, raining down the right rib cage into the right hip, into the tip of the hip point, cascading into the bowl of the pelvis. Draw all of this energy from the bowl of your pelvis up through your belly, your solar plexus, your passion, up into your heart space, the natural love that holds you and all beings. Notice how expansive you feel in this space of deep relaxation. Feel oneness with the earth beneath you and all beings growing up from you. Expand outward now into green, damp grass with all sorts of wildflowers surrounding and encasing the mountain forests of this valley. You hear birds with their newborns. A crisp creek babbles at your feet. All you see above you is blue sky. There is not a cloud in sight. It is only ever interrupted by the occasional buzzing bumblebee or whispering butterfly. The rays of sunlight caress your arms and face with warmth. It is so comfortable to just lay here. There is nothing to do or others to be concerned with. You know this place will always lovingly welcome you in to rest, that this place is yours alone, and it is a touchstone for you to return to. Breathe in the sweet wildflowers on a gentle summer breeze of your own breath. Breathe in deeply, let go. This breath is always there for you. From it, all of your movements arise. Notice now again the rise and fall of your breath from the belly to the ribs, filling up to the top of the chest. Slowly bring each finger in and out from your palm as you breathe to reawaken your body. As you feel ready, you can bring your hands in a prayer position to your forehead as you slowly blink open your eyes. If you feel comfortable, you can come out of your final resting posture and come to a comfortable seat. Now kneel to your own empowerment. Kneel to your own value. You are worth every breath you take. Namaste, friends.